flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. As a legislative authority in Asheville, we impact a lot to the families, businesses, and schools. With such a weighty responsibility, we believe it is wholly appropriate to petition for help from a higher authority in the discussion, reflection, and dispensing of our duties as council members. Okay, I'd like to again welcome everybody to July 22nd council meeting in the Chuck Wise Council Chambers. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. As a legislative authority in Asheville, we impact a lot to the families, businesses, and schools. With such a weighty responsibility, we believe it is wholly appropriate to petition for help from a higher authority in the discussion, reflection, and dispensing of our duties as council members. Moment of silence. May we see? Chad? Present. Robert? Present. Randy? Present. Sam? Matt? Present. Holton? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 8th regular session meeting? Second? Second. Vote? Yes. Okay, presentations. Hickory Glen.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Webb. I'm here on behalf of Fisher Homes. We're presenting or requesting approval for final development plan for Hickory Glen. I spoke with staff. They didn't feel that a presentation was necessary, but I just wanted to be available to answer questions. Our plan is consistent with the preliminary plan that was previously approved, and we had our engineer review and have committed to meeting all of those comments. So if anybody has questions, happy to try to answer their questions for the evening.
The only question I had was the implementation, NCA, and impact fees.
And we're committed to meeting those.
Questions I have on the planning and zoning meeting, May 22nd, the conditions apparently you agreed to, natural trail back detention with 57 limestone, is that correct?
That's correct.
Village permits stated in the HOA documents, is that correct? Culvert to the church, is that correct?
I believe that's correct. I know our engineer was working that out, and I believe that would be on our property, which would make it our responsibility.
But you cross over to the church's property, as I understand it, to their parking lot.
We're subbing a trail to their property. If you're happy to put that as a condition tonight, if you'd like, I believe we committed to that on May.
Well, it says culvert to the church, so that'd be church property in my mind.
We look at our plans. The way that would be if there's a culvert required, I'm not sure that there would be. The grading doesn't look that bad from this point, but
That'd be up to the engineer, right?
yes, yes.
And I'm assuming the village engineer has reviewed all your plans.
That's correct, yes. And looking at the trail that we proposed, and we kind of wiggled it around, probably to avoid having to do a culvert if one was going to be required.
Now, has this tree advisory board reviewed your tree plans?
Yes, sir. I spoke with Ms. Pemberton a couple weeks ago. She sent us their comments.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
With the tree advisory board, I know they had talked when they come in the one meeting about trees in front of the houses, the sidewalk trees. I know on here it doesn't show it. Is that going to happen, or is it just going to be along the corners?
There was discussion on street trees,
Yep.
and I don't believe that it's in the code right now that they're required. However, if they are required at some point in time, then we would commit to doing the street trees.
I prefer there not to be trees between the sidewalk and curbs, because
Okay.
then you end up with trees growing into your infrastructure,
Sure.
trees growing into your gas lines or water lines, raising your sidewalks, and you end up, then they end up, when they're in that's your easement, then they end up your responsibility, and when they need trimmed, you have to, or we have to trim them, and then when they have to be cut down, we have to cut them down. So I prefer if we have trees that are behind our easements, where they're the responsibility of the homeowners.
And we did commit to doing yard trees in the
Okay.
front yard, and we would prefer not to do the street trees because sometimes it does, as stated, it does impact the homeowners' utilities and whatnot,
Yep.
and then it becomes an issue between our future customer and this village, so.
Sure. Any other questions?
I'm gonna ask about the NCAA.
She said Any other discussion? Do I have a motion to approval?
Make a motion to approve?
Second. Vote?
Yes.
Thank you guys, I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Departmental reports. Do you have anything, Dave? Please. Do you have anything?
I'm sorry?
Thank you for report, please.
I don't know.
Bert?
Now, I talked to the utility committee a little bit ago about the 6119 water sewer district for the township. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look over the emails I sent you stating what it was and what it was going to entail. But basically all we're doing is making an agreement between Ashville, South Bloomfield, and the township to keep the township whole, to keep Columbus from coming down. Earnhardt Hill's already promising a water line. There's plans in my desk in there for water lines all the way down to St. Paul Road to kind of landlock us, and then once they get the water in, they own the township. So the township has reached out to us and South Bloomfield to kind of everybody work together. Steve and I have been talking to them quite a bit. We think it's a good idea. It continues us to have water and sewer growth along with South Bloomfield. It also continues to let the township be their own entity. And without that, Columbus is coming, and
And there's something we'll write in that, you know, if somebody wants to annex into either village, the township will have to let them, so.
and
This is more to just protect.
it's going to be its own little private zoning, and it's going to have people from Asheville, South Bloomfield, and the township all on the board. So there's just going to be monies needed in order to get the legislation and stuff done for it. Brian Zetz is doing the legislation. He's our attorney, he's South Bloomfield's attorney, and the township has agreed to let him write the agreement up. I just would like a positive confirmation to go forward. Don't need anything in stone today. We just need to be able to transfer money so that we can start the paperwork. Anything that will be finalized will be voted on later.
Okay, here's my concern. This seed agreement's been in force for how long? 2004?
Pretty much.
South Bloomfield has been a member of that with Asheville and Harrison Township. In '22, they passed a resolution really criticizing this body seriously for the development out there behind all the funeral homes in DHL. What's the guarantee to us that they're going to be cooperative down the road if something comes up that seems to be to their advantage? I agree with the
Anything that
concept.
goes into the 911 district will take a 2-to-1 vote.
Mhm.
It'll take one of us and the township, or South Bloomfield and the township against us. Nothing's 100%.
Right.
There was consideration for light industrial and stuff like that. I think the big boxes, the big warehouses, is something that none of us really want to see here, because when they get empty, they kind of look hideous and sit around
And I don't disagree with you, but they were pretty harsh to this body and the council individually in the decision that we made. And I haven't read in detail the CETA agreement, but I would assume there was a majority vote there to approve anything.
the CETA agreement also include the county.
Right.
This doesn't. This is us three entities.
I just have to wonder what's gonna make them, other than your 2-to-1 vote, follow this new agreement.
Well, there's going to be line limitations. The Asheville line is going to be St. Paul Road, and basically St. Paul Road is going to go all the way through to the river. That's kind of the imaginary line all the way through. And anything north of that will remain township,
Okay,
and all the way to Duval Road.
okay.
Earnhardt Hills already came to the county or the township with a plan to install water lines.
I understand.
For free. Once they do that, it's all over. The city of Columbus will be sitting here at St. Paul Road before it's over with. Won't be in your lifetime, won't be in mine, but it'll be there.
So what happens to the physical facilities of Asheville and South Bloomfield 5 years down the road when this thing really kicks in?
Well, when there's expansion needed, then they're gonna, the 6119 district will actually have to help pay. We're gonna get water and sewer bill rates just like we would off of, probably at a higher rate than we would off of regular citizens of the town. It's gonna go to the township, people that live in the township pay more. That's typically how all that works. Depending, there'll be a different number for them versus the residents of the village.
So what happens to the assets of Asheville, the water plant, the sewer plant? Are we compensated at all by this district?
We will be getting the water and sewer rates from them, and we'll probably be getting a part of the tap fee. That hasn't been worked out yet.
Okay,
I would assume we're gonna get part of the tap fees, just like South Bloomfield will, and then the 6119 district, or the township, however you wanna call it, will as well.
but they would take over the maintenance and running of the plants?
They will have to, no, not the plants. The plants belong to Asheville, the water plant, our water plant, and sewer plant belongs to Asheville. They have nothing to do with it. All we're doing is offering services.
Okay,
The ability to extend our services into their township
okay,
to keep the big city at bay.
I got you. Okay.
That's all we're offering to do. That and work together with the township and South Bloomfield. And like I said, none of the particulars have been worked out. It's just right now in the planning stages.
Yeah, okay.
If we don't do something,
I understand.
we're gonna get,
We're gonna get eat up.
yeah.
Uh,
Because when they come, they won't wait 2 years. They'll be here tomorrow.
The board that's supposedly gonna be developed.
I think we haven't got that deep into it. My assumption is that you guys will appoint a member. There'll be a member appointed from their council, and then the trustees will appoint a member.
Okay,
So it'll be a 3-board member like that.
And the north-south line will be mud run like it is now.
Yeah. East-west.
East-west line will be mud, east-west will be mud.
okay. Okay, thanks, Bert.
Real. So if that's something you guys, are in favor of,
You don't need a vote, I don't believe.
I don't need a vote, I just
I think
need
it's.
affirmation.
Pursue it, get it in order, bring it back to us, let us look at it.
Because like I said, in order to draw up the contract, there needs to be money placed in an account that's kind of for that. That's all I'm looking for is, you may see the contract when you get it and say, I don't like this, but you don't have to vote on
Well,
it.
that's, yeah, and I don't think you see any will up here for us not to at least pursue it and see where we are.
Right,
So,
okay. Right.
Thank you.
That's number one. The TIF and NCA. Back before I started, we hired Montrose. I don't know exactly the purpose of hiring Montrose Group. My thought process was they was there to help enact the NCAs and the TIFs and all that. Well, after I asked them about that, they said, well, that's really not their wheelhouse. They're in this for more of a negotiational standpoint with developers. And the cost is $3,500 a month. I personally think we have the ability to do our own negotiations. And then if we need to retain them for something special, we can do that. I would like to abandon that agreement or at least try to rework it where it's a little more favorable for the village, because we're 4 months in it right now and they got a bill, and come 10 months in it, we're gonna get one for $35,000. That's my scary part of
So
it.
what you're saying, we're not getting the bang for our buck.
I can do what they're
It's
doing.
my understanding that it would be working through would they be helping us with the NCA?
Yeah.
Right.
That-
They're not.
I mean, you know, hiring a broker's hiring a broker. You and I can make an agreement to bring somebody into
Right.
town. I thought their expertise was going to.
I did too. That's when I first heard it.
Yeah,
And I-
that's how it presented us.
That's what it sounded like.
Well,
Yeah, I think everybody kind of heard the same thing.
and then there's a lawyer firm that did our NCA, Bricker Graydon, that has offered to, for $5,000 a year, basically manage each one of these developments. And then there'll be another charge in order to put the TIFs and stuff in place, but they'll manage all that for us for $5,000 a year. Not $42,000 and really don't get anything out of it, so.
That needs to be looked at hard.
Yeah, so, and I had a talk with Montrose Friday, just trying to figure out what we're getting for our money, because I mean,
Yeah,
We-
the world's full of middlemen,
yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be,
and they're the ones making the money.
right. So, and I'm going to talk more to Bricker Graydon about, getting hard and heavy on figures. They're the ones telling me that we can use these TIFs and NCAs, you said come up with money for the infrastructure, to borrow against, to can use that towards the infrastructure
Our
upgrades.
contract with Montrose allows for what type of,
They said I can cancel tomorrow if I want to.
okay, good,
Uh,
good. So
so
that's
it's-
that's not gonna be an issue if we
No.
decide a month from now or whatever from now that we don't, we
And
need to maybe rework that agreement.
he was going back to talk to his people to see what other potential types of agreements we can feather this out to be, whether we can do something on an hourly basis, or there's something we need them for,
Yeah.
or something we get
So what's
into
that?
we just don't
We're paying-
understand.
You know, we're paying retainer, we're paying by the hour.
Right, but the actual contract that we signed, or we put a ordinance out on, is $3,500 a month, and,
Some months
My
you-
personal
Some months you
opinion-
get nothing but a phone call, if that.
yeah, there you go.
I hear you.
And I'm not really much on just wasting money like that, but.
No, that's true.
So we need to talk to this other firm that you were referring to.
I actually will send you guys all a contract, or that they sent me, I think I sent it to Steve, I'll wait and give it to you at the next council meeting, whatever you prefer. It's actually a layout of their scope of work, their fees, and everything they'll do for us. And I'll send it to you guys, and then I'll bring it up the next council meeting, and we'll hash it out.
Because we need somebody that knows what this is about.
100%.
Get it started,
Yeah, because right now,
get it. But we got something on paper, but
Yeah, we're not experts in this at all, that's why we hire people, right?
well, and I don't want to be mean, but we hired our own people,
well,
because they told me point blank, it's not their wheelhouse.
I think that's the thing.
We may not be their wheelhouse going forward.
Yeah, I mean, they're nice people and they're knowledgeable people, but it's just,
But,
some things you need help with, and some things you don't.
Good point, yeah, look into that for us.
All right. Couple of you got the Prairie View bills that wasn't here earlier. If you have any questions about them,
When's the last conversation you had with those folks?
it's been a while.
Yeah, okay, they didn't handle it well.
Well, we didn't have numbers, we just come up with those.
I don't know about you, but I would, I mean, it is what it is. I think we're shooting it low, which is probably a fair thing to do. I would show them the numbers. I have no issue with them paying us over a small amount of time or whatever. It's, it's no big deal to me, but we do need to be made whole on it.
Okay.
Anybody else feel any differently with that? It is what it is, and I'm not looking to walk in and ask for a big check, but it's like, guys, if you send me a couple $1,000 a month for.
But they knew when they started getting a $300 water bill that it wasn't right, and that's kind of where it's at.
And it is, and it's verifiable, and let's just go with it. So.
Right. I think that's all I got on this. Sorry, you won't ask me to talk, can't wait.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks, Bert. Anything, April?
Yeah, just one thing, it's actually under new business. The fire department wants to spend their portion of the impact fees to purchase, Bert has a little more information on this than I do.
That's CBAs.
CBAs.
Do they have the money in their account?
They do, yeah, they have the 58,949.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
motion approved. We have a couple of ordinances for first reading. Ordinance 2024-12. It's an ordinance amending building fees. Motion for first reading.
So,
Second. Vote?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-12, the Village of Asheville, an ordinance amending building fee section 1305-01 of the codified ordinances of the Village of Asheville, declare an emergency. What this is doing is, right now, our building fees, permit fee is cheaper than what we're paying out to build tools.
Okay.
Building inspectors, so what we're doing, we're raising it to make,
Okay.
so we're not losing money and having to use taxpayer money to pay.
Just first reading. Any discussion? I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of, we approve the first reading of 2024-12, suspend the rules of council by waiving the second and third reading and adopting the ordinance as an emergency measure.
how much are we increasing these rates?
Right now, it's we're around
Just
400 or that, I think Samantha said,
I didn't hear the question.
but
How much are the permit fees now?
They vary.
1,500.
No, 50% increasing.
But it's covering our fees for bill.
Yeah, because there's, what it is bill charges per inspection,
Yeah.
and they get 15 inspections, so they're raising it to match those 15 inspections. It'll be around $1,500
Okay, make a motion.
instead of 400. Second?
Second.
Vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion passed. And then, ordinance 2024-13, the ordinance to approve the final development plan for DR ordinance. And not DR ordinance would be Fisher and Chick Balls. Yeah, it's not DR ordinance. Fisher. Yes. Double motion.
A motion for first reading.
Second. Vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-13, an ordinance to approve the application of Fisher Homes Hickory Glen Plan Development Unit PUD, final development plan and declare an emergency.
You want this tonight? Or does it matter? Do we do all the readings or do you need it?
I haven't been told either way by Sam.
I'll move we set first reading.
Motion to accept the first reading?
Second.
Vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Done. Does council want
Anything else?
to, for right now?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn to executive session, consider the appointment of public employee, investigation of a public employee.
Go second?
Second.
Vote?
Yep.
Yes.
Order. Does council need to, which take any action? Shall we,
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to appoint Dave Mettler, the interim police chief, until further notice.
Second.
Vote?
Yes.
Yes.
There was P and Z.
There was nothing.
Samantha, P and Z.
Oh, yeah.
I need somebody to make a motion.
I know, but
Second?
Second.
Vote?
Yes.
Any council committee reports?
April, we need a finance committee meeting sometime, whenever you can, whenever the Roger and Matt can, so whatever, maybe next month sometime we'll
we can do that.
you guys can do it, 6 o'clock, one night when you know you'll be here for sure, we can do it 6 o'clock. Yeah, we'll figure it out, we'll let you know. Okay, thanks. but I see what you're discussing, so.
I just have a couple things. Attended the P3 meeting down in Circleville on Friday. We talked about projects, Rickenbacker, Ashville, South Midfield, that everything's moving along. And then on Thursday evening, I met with the mayor of the South Midfield, Commercial Point, Williamsport, and Circleville. Talking about what's going on in the municipalities and everything, and just started having some support from the meetings. Any council comments?
Pickleball nets are in, should be.
Yes, okay, that's
in the next couple of
good.
weeks.
Excellent. Anything else? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.